Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the mechanics and the far-reaching ramifications of facial recognition. Let's unlock the invisible.
Hold your phone up. It unlocks. In that half second, something remarkable just happened. You didn't type a password, you didn't scan a fingerprint, you literally just existed, and your device knew exactly who you were. But how does it actually know? What is going on behind that black glass in that tiny fraction of a second?
Well, right off the bat, we need to clear up a common misconception. There's a massive difference between face detection and face recognition. People tend to use these terms interchangeably, but they are entirely different steps. Face detection is basically just the system asking, hey, is there a face in this image? It draws a little digital bounding box around a head, kind of like when your digital camera focuses on a group of people. It doesn't care who you are. Face recognition, on the other hand, takes that detected face and asks a much harder question: whose face is this?
To figure that out, your phone runs through a remarkably precise process. So, when you wake your screen, a true depth camera system springs into action. First, it detects your face. Second, an infrared illuminator projects this massive grid of invisible dots all over you. Third, an infrared camera reads that grid to create a highly accurate 3D depth map of your facial landscape. And finally, step 4, it converts all of that physical geometry into a mathematical formula.
And just to give you a sense of the sheer scale of what happens in that literal half second, your phone just projected and analyzed over 30,000 invisible infrared dots onto your face. It's essentially draping a microscopic, invisible net over your features to measure every single peak and valley. And it does this even in total darkness.
Think of this process as your device running through a highly detailed facial checklist. The system isn't just snapping a flat 2D photo of you. It's calculating incredibly precise measurements. We're talking the exact distance between your eyes, the width of your nose, the specific shape of your jawline, the depth of your eye sockets, and even the contour of your lips. It's capturing the unique architectural blueprint of your face, which works perfectly even if you just rolled out of bed and haven't had your morning coffee yet.
So all those measurements, they get converted into what's known as a face print or a facial embedding. Now, for your security, this data is heavily encrypted and stored in a completely isolated hardware zone on your device called the Secure Enclave. Because the depth mapping is so incredibly precise, the probability of a random stranger picking up your phone, looking at it, and unlocking it is actually less than 1 in a million.
Modern machine learning models, like FaceNet, do something pretty wild here. They take all that rich physical data and compress your entire facial identity into a 128-dimensional numerical vector. Now, you totally don't need to be a math whiz to appreciate this. Just know that your unique, infinitely complex human face has been successfully translated into a string of exactly 128 numbers. It acts exactly like a digital fingerprint.
But these systems are better at recognizing some faces than others, depending on how they were trained. And this is absolutely crucial. Because when we take this technology out of the controlled environment of unlocking your phone and deploy it into uncontrolled, high-stakes environments, the performance becomes really uneven.
Let's look at the data collected by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Their 2019 report is pretty striking. They found that many algorithms were 10 to 100 times more likely to misidentify Black or East Asian faces compared to white faces. And one really extreme example, the top-performing systems showed a false positive rate that was 358 times higher for West African women over the age of 65 than for Eastern European men.
Understanding why this happens is fascinating, really. Machine learning algorithms, they only know what we teach them. They learn from vast data sets of images. One foundational, widely used data set called Labeled Faces in the Wild consisted of 83.5% white faces. So if you train an AI overwhelmingly on one specific demographic, it naturally becomes highly accurate at identifying that group, but it's going to struggle significantly with demographics it just hasn't seen as often.
But it's actually not just the training data. There are other hidden, underlying technical factors at play too. Historically, camera hardware itself was calibrated and optimized for lighter skin tones, so underexposure disproportionately affects darker skin, leading to a loss of the crucial facial landmarks that the algorithm actually needs to do its math. Add to that the fact that in high-stakes law enforcement scenarios, the system is often fed blurry, poorly lit surveillance photos, and you can see how that severely compounds the algorithm's baseline error rates.
And these technical discrepancies, they translate directly into real-world consequences that impact real people. For instance, the retailer Rite Aid deployed facial recognition that flagged innocent customers,
disproportionately in non-white neighborhoods, resulting in people, including an 11-year-old girl, being wrongly confronted or banned from the store. In the justice system, men like Robert Williams were falsely arrested based on bad matches from blurry surveillance photos. Another man, Christopher Gatlin, actually spent 17 months behind bars for a crime he didn't commit, entirely due to an algorithmic misidentification.
And the scale of how this is being deployed is expanding at an unimaginable rate. We aren't just matching against local, small-town databases anymore. Companies like Clearview AI have scraped over 70 billion images from public websites and social media to create massive, searchable identity galleries. These systems are actively sold to law enforcement agencies, which means a public photo you uploaded years ago could literally right now be part of a vast automated digital lineup.
So, what started as a remarkably convenient way to skip typing a passcode has rapidly evolved. It's now used at airports for biometric passport gates so we can skip the line. Casinos are using it to track registered gambling addicts on the floor so they can intervene. Retailers are testing FacePay to speed up checkouts while simultaneously scanning the aisles for known shoplifters. We are very quickly transitioning into an era where your face is both your ultimate key and your ultimate tracking beacon.
Which brings us to a vital question we all need to be asking ourselves right now as this technology scales. What do you do if you lose your digital face? Think about it. If a hacker steals your password, you just reset it. If someone clones your credit card, you call the bank, they cancel it, and send you a new one. But your facial geometry, those 30,000 invisible dots, that 128-dimensional vector, it's immutable. You can never change it. If a database holding your biometric template gets compromised, that data is just out there forever. Because ultimately, a technology that unlocks your phone is the same one used by governments. Worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the invisible systems around you.